What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Buysellcars TV. Today's video is going to be about the miles per gallon that we can get from this Range Rover 3.0 Sdv6. And the plan is I'm going to find out in real world driving how much does it cost to fill up a tank on a Range Rover, but more importantly, how many miles can I actually get from a full tank of diesel. Forget about the manufacturer's suggested range and MPG. This is going to be an honest, daily driven with a mix of town and motorway driving to calculate the exact cost of fueling this car. So let's head down to the fuel station, explain how we're going to do all of this and get into today's video. Believe it or not, I've never actually done a full tank of fuel in this car, which is quite bad when you think I've had this for about 6 months now, but it doesn't get used every single day. And it's a car which I use as and when I need to, so if it needs fuel, if I'm going on a long journey, I'll put some fuel in, but I've never done a full tank. For most of the time, the onboard computer in this car says I average around 30 miles per gallon, so it will be interesting to see at the end of the video what the outcome's going to be in regards to the cost of fuel. Currently, as it stands on the way to the fuel station, we've got a reading of 48 miles remaining on the current tank. So the way which we are going to run this test is I'm going to head down to the fuel station and fill up this car to the first click. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive this car for around a week until the fuel light comes back on. Then we'll head back to the fuel station, fuel it up again to the first click, and then we'll be able to work out exactly how much has this car cost to fill up, how many miles we had done, and from that we can calculate the exact miles per gallon. And by doing it this way, we can work out the exact fuel consumption for this car. Forgetting about the statistics it says for this car, doing it the old school way, how much fuel cost, how many litres we put in, and how many miles we've driven, we can find out the true miles per gallon of this Range Rover Vogue 3-litre Sdv6 engine. So we're just about to pull into the fuel station, and it's not too bad actually. Diesel is 138.9. So let's jump out, let's put some fuel in this car and see how much it's going to cost to fill up the tank and get started with running this test. So I'm just going to use regular diesel to fill up the car. Don't need to put any fancy Supreme stuff in. This will do the job. How much do you guys think it's going to cost to fill up this car? My guess is 100 quid there or thereabouts. This car's got an 86 litre tank, so I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe. Every little bit helps fund the channel and I can put some more fuel into this car. I think we should get about 500 miles out of this one. This weather is really bad today. 90 quid. What do you reckon, 100? I've got my missus behind the camera today. I said 100. 100, no, first click, £100, 84 pence. I did say 100, right? Yeah. Okay. Right, so £100, 84 pence, 72 litres of fuel. Let's get on with the video. So we can now see the car is showing a range of 508 miles and the current mileage on the car is there on the left, 67,096 miles. So we've got the estimated range, we've got the exact mileage of the car. I'll catch up with you guys in a week's time or so once we run out of fuel and we can find out exactly how much this car has cost to run during that period, and we'll find out the exact level of miles per gallon on this engine. So I'll see you guys in a week. Don't go anywhere. So just a quick update for you guys. I've just done a little bit over half a tank, so I thought, let me give you a quick update on how it's going, the types of journeys I've been doing, and where I'm at on the trip computer. So let me show you all that now. So just a quick look at the trip computer. We have driven already 300 miles, and as you can see, we have just gone over halfway when it comes to the fuel gauge. So 300 miles driven, and we've done 35.8 miles per gallon according to the trip computer. The range is still showing 255 miles, so hopefully we will be able to do more than 500 miles on this tank of fuel. So it's looking pretty good so far. Obviously I won't be able to do any of the exact calculations to the end when we actually go fuel up the car and know how many litres we've actually put in and used, but as it stands, the car is doing reasonably well on fuel. It's been a mixture of motorway and town, probably about 70-30 split. So 70% motorway, 30% around town. A lot of that 30% was heavy traffic. So it still gives you a good idea of what this car is going to be like on fuel. I'm using this car every day for all my errands. Wherever I need to go, this is the car I'm driving. But that's where we are at the moment, halfway into this journey. But I'm going to see you guys when we get back to the petrol station to fill up this car once the fuel light comes back on, and we can find out exactly how much this car costs to run on a full tank of fuel. So stay tuned, we're gonna get into all the stats and get technical at the end of this video. So the time has come now, the fuel light has just turned on about 4 or 5 miles ago, so I thought let me get the camera rolling and get to the fuel station. I've done just over 508 miles and my range is still showing 62 miles. So on a full tank, taking it right down to empty, you could definitely get close to 600 miles, but there is no way I'm going to take that risk with a diesel car. You don't really want to let any car get low on fuel, especially with diesels. You don't want to run out of fuel. It's the last thing you want to do. But as it stands, we've passed that 500 mile mark and still got 62 miles in the tank. Do you know what? I've really enjoyed driving this car. I've done that 500 miles in such a short space of time because I've driven this car everywhere. And in the past, when I've had Range Rovers, I do daily drive them. They were my everyday car. But this one, I don't drive it very often. And this is the first time in about 6 months I can say, for a whole week, I've every day just used this car. And genuinely, you realise it's such a nice car. Value for money, it's so good. I literally put an Instagram post on yesterday saying that, you know, is there a better car you can buy for 30 grand? I don't think there is, not in this league or this category. It's such a nice wafter, pretty good on fuel, very spacious, very practical. 30 grand represents a lot of good value for this car when you take into consideration this car new is probably, I don't know, 80 odd grand, maybe touching 90. So I've really enjoyed my time driving this car. It does make me want to just continue driving this car and using it. Long journeys are so effortless, you don't get tired at all. Only downside is parking this car can be a little bit of a pain because of the size, but overall I've enjoyed my week driving this car for you guys to see what's this car going to be like on fuel. So we're just approaching the fuel station now, and what we're going to do is fill up the tank again, and then we can work out exactly how much this week has cost us on fuel. But I'm pulling it now, we'll get into all of the calculations and then we can figure out how much we've spent on this car during the last week. The fuel is 138.9, so I think it's there or thereabouts the same as what it was last week when I fueled up. So let's jump out, fill up this tank, and let's get the ball rolling. Regular diesel, we're going to do exactly the same what we've done before. How much do you think it's going to cost this time? I'm saying about £92 because we still got a little bit more fuel than what we had before. I'm going with around £92. Seriously, if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel because it is already costing me a horrendous amount on fuel. I've done 100 and I'm probably going to do another 100 now, so I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe. Don't you find fueling up abroad is so much better than over here? You just sit in your car and there's a fuel attendant does everything for you. That is definitely something they should bring over here. Just past £70. I'm sticking with 93. £80. We're getting close. £90, 91, 92, 93. Okay, I'm out of it. We've passed what I was going to say. £97.38 to the first click. Not bad. So what I'm going to do now is run inside, try and finance this fuel bill because it's been a bit of an expensive week. Then what we'll do is we'll jump back in the car, work out all the calculations and find out exactly how many miles per gallon we've done on this Range Rover. Okay, so now that the car is fueled up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you the trip computer of what I've done during that 512 miles which I've driven. So, you know, the current MPG, etc. So I'll show you that. Then what I'm going to do is actually work out through a calculator which you can find online. This will calculate the real world MPG of this car. So we just need the fuel cost, the total spend and the distance we've traveled. So let me start with showing you the trip computer. Then we'll work out the real miles per gallon. So let's have a look at the trip computer of what I've done. So I've driven 512 miles, which you can see on the top right, and I've averaged 35.6 miles per gallon. Ignore the bottom left because obviously that range is now from when I filled up the tank, so you can ignore that. But the top two things are what's important. That is the miles I've done, and that is what the computer is saying I've done on miles per gallon. Okay, so you know the car's done 35.6 miles per gallon. Let's enter everything into the calculator and see if there is any difference. So what we want to do is enter the fuel cost, which we know is 138.9. And then the total we've spent on fuel is £97.38, but I don't think we can do the 38 pence. So we'll just leave it at £97. And then the distance traveled is 512 miles, 512.4, but it's there or thereabouts. So the real world MPG, according to this, from a manual calculation, 33.33 miles per gallon, which is different to what the onboard computer says. There is a difference of about 2.3 miles per gallon, which isn't significant, but that does go to show that the trip computer is not always accurate. It is just more of a guideline. But for the purpose of this test, I just wanted to work out the exact real world cost of driving this car on a full tank of fuel, what you should expect to achieve. Now, I've driven this car, I would say 50% motorway and 50% town. My average speed from the trip computer has been 28 miles per hour. So that gives you an idea of mix of town and motorway. Maybe 60% motorway, 40% town, but there or thereabouts. And I've driven this car as normal. I haven't tried to be efficient. I've just driven it as you normally would. If I was to be super efficient, I wouldn't call it a real world test. It would be how many miles can I get out of a full tank. But the purpose of this is for you guys who are looking to maybe buy this car and want to know exactly what it's like to run this car on fuel. I'm sure many of you will know about the insurance costs on these cars, but a lot of you want to know things like the running cost. So that gives you an idea of the fuel costs. In the next video, I'm actually taking this car to main dealer to get it serviced. So that is going to be another thing which I'm going to talk about, is the maintenance on these cars and how much should you expect to pay at main dealer for servicing. So that's going to be the next video. It is going to be a good one. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see more content on Range Rovers, not just this model. I've got an older L322. There's plenty of other Range Rover content already on the channel. So if you are enjoying this, hit that subscribe button and make sure you like this video and comment down below if there are any other things you would like to see on the channel with this car. But on that note, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video and it's given you a good insight into the running costs of this car. As always, thank you so much again for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.